founder and value creator with over 20 years of experience. Our guest today is Mr. Harsh Patel.
If you want to sell a product or a service, the way you do it, the way you make it, or the way you sell it, you should be able to repeat it over and over and over again.
Been responsible for driving significant revenue growth and operational improvements.
Compliance to whatever the client wanted actually was not a blocker, but an enabler of expansion of global expansion into a territory like India.
Good day, everyone, and welcome back to FaceTime with Leaders, the podcast series brought to you by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Charu Mehra, and today we have the distinct privilege of speaking with a highly accomplished leader whose extensive career has spanned multiple industries, creating value, driving growth, and leading transformative initiatives across the globe. Our guest today is Mr. Harsh Patel, who's the founder and managing director and value creator with over 20 years of experience in SaaS scale-ups, Big Four consulting, and large-scale enterprise transformation programs. Mr. Patel is renowned for building systems, teams, and governance frameworks that enhance operational efficiency, increase margins, and mitigate growth risks. He has successfully delivered over 35 million US dollars in EBITDA impact over the years and designed margin expansion initiatives of more than 500 US million dollars across regions including the US, EU, Middle East, and India. Mr. Patel, thank you so much for joining us today. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on FaceTime with Leaders.
Thank you, Charu, for the warm introduction. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you.
Great. I'm so looking forward to having this conversation with you.
Likewise.
So, Mr. Patel, before we delve deeper into your impressive career, let's take a moment to understand the foundation of your journey. Every leader has a unique story, one that often starts long before they reach the heights of their achievements. Could you kindly walk us through the beginnings of your career?
Well, I have had several beginnings in the last 22 years of working. I started my career with Infosys for many years. Given my family background of farming and first time living in the city, it was very different for me. People were all very smart. Systems were excellent, making them more efficient. There was top-notch governance from Infosys itself, and the oversight from the Fortune 500 clients, right?
Right.
So there was nothing really to complain, and I had a lot of learning from there.
Mm-hmm.
Until I started hearing people complain, even in that kind of a high matured environment, right? And when I heard those complaints, that got me thinking. And the complaints were very valid, rather questions, I would say. Why isn't Infosys making more products, right? When it is already very successful in its first product, and it is turning anything it touches into gold already. Or why is Infosys not serving the Indian market when TCS is gaining ground over there, or the Middle Eastern market, and so on?
Right.
Over time, I realized that the people on the ground, the workers, the working masses held these views while the management did not, right? So I also saw the difference between the ground level and the leadership, which also got me thinking.
Right.
Later, when I joined IBM, I saw something similar. I saw another problem, a very big company, as we know, with all the resources on its hand, and yet a living victim of organized hiring fraud, right? And that impacted me and the people I hired and my project. And whosoever I spoke to knew about the problem, and yet no one could or would solve that issue, right? So that's when I realized that there are some things which I don't understand back in time. And that prompted me to pursue an MBA, which I did. I went to Paris, did my MBA from there, and learned strategy, finance, and those concepts. Later, I made my way into Ernst& Young, which is a Big Four consulting firm, where I got a hang of transformation at scale, and learned to see things from the board and the investor lens, right? However, my family couldn't cope up with the intensive travel that this involved, so I got somehow into B2B SaaS companies,
Okay.
which were like startup environments, right? Which was again another beginning for me, from an organized world of large companies to a highly pivoting and chaotic world of startups. Right?
Startups,
But
yes.
I saw the founders and the leaders directly in action, right? They had been very successful at bringing the company so far, but then I saw them running in circles when it came to doing or handling bigger transformations,
Right.
right? That's when I realized that, and I got impacted by that in several ways. So I thought I'm from a lean or transformation background, and I can visually tell if there are waste inherent in any process or any
Right.
undertaking. So I saw a lot of waste yeah, happening around there, which is when I thought, why don't I start my own? And since last 2 years, I have my own companies. I started three, one of them failed, but the other two are constantly growing. And basically, I'm prompted by Gandhiji's saying that be the change that you want to see in the world, right? And also, Ayn Rand's that it's the question isn't who would let me do it. It is the who would stop me from doing it, right?
Right. Right.
And although a lot of people are stopping me, well-meaning ones, my father, my wife, because it's not easy journey. It's very difficult journey, but I'm driven by my father, who has been an inspiration, and about his thing that one must always do more than the surroundings, right? And
Wow.
that's what I'm up to.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. That was such a, powerful beginning, Mr. Patel. And what I really loved is that you just didn't talk about the achievements that you got, but you also took us through your struggles, the areas of opportunities you saw, and you took on those challenges and you came out successful. And I wish you all the very best for your future, for the companies that you've started. It's really inspiring to hear what you've been through. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Well, thank you so much. It's one of the biggest personal transformations I'm on to, and I hope, yeah, I'm successful.
All the best for that, sir.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Patel, your leadership spans multiple industries, including SaaS, fintech, manufacturing, operations. With such diverse experience, you've been able to deliver high impact results and lead organizations through complex transformations. In your extensive work across the US, EU, Middle East, and India, how did you navigate the challenge of balancing local compliance requirements with maintaining global consistency in your operations?
Right. So let me answer it this way. So transformation, if we talk about, it's a very complex undertaking. Okay. If we really dissect the transformation phenomena, it is about you, me, or any organization or any country wanting to change its situation
Right.
from its current situation. And while being in the current situation, so there are forces that pull you back into your existing ways of working, and you also need people. So you need a very clear solution in this
Right.
aspect, right?
Right.
Otherwise, you will not know how to get to where you want to go, and you'll need support of the people, various people involved. So there are stakeholders involved, and there is a time factor because things can be long drawn, making you lose focus, lose interest, and so many things, right? So every transformation, whether it is personal or institutional or of a country, whether you talk about weight loss or muscle building or cleaning India or cleaning its rivers or any organization wanting to change, you can apply this phenomena and see
Right.
and understand why something succeeds or why something fails, right? So it's a very complex thing, and I've seen over and over again doing ERP transformations for companies, CRM transformations for companies, or scaling up my business units. I've seen this play in and out countless times, right? And I realized that people generally go wrong in one of these reasons, and no wonder why so many IT undertakings fail, right,
Right.
in delivering the right result. And in fact, to give examples, I can cite many. But for the first one, I was into this company, which was 15 years into being. And when the investors, the venture capital fund, got in, they asked the company to undertake the first transformation, which was to for the SaaS company to be a truly SaaS company, right? To align to the SaaS principles, which
Right.
was things like to make the product instantly available upon purchase, right? Like how we do Netflix, for example, or to be able to charge
Right.
the customer right upon purchase and so on. And the
Mhm.
organization pivoted and it did it, right, successfully. But when it came to the more difficult transformation, which was for the company to get ready to go public, right,
Okay.
in the stock market, the
Mhm.
company stumbled, right? It failed, or rather stumbled, or didn't make the right decision when it came to investing into the right tool
Right.
needed for compliance to the accounting ASC 606 standard,
Okay.
or the difficult undertaking of making its people change their ways of working.
Right.
And it, at least at that point in time, it failed, right? Of course, later it achieved all that, but by then the window of time to go public was already lost, right? Right, and then the macro, and when you lose such opportunities, there's also a risk of the macro factors changing, the
Mhm.
geopolitics, the
Right.
post-COVID, the tariffs, and it's been many years, and the company is still not public, right? Or the venture capital hasn't been able to exit, right? So there is a huge cost of not complying or not changing when it comes to complex transformation.
Right. Right.
I can talk about another example of one of the big four banks of Australia. Right, it was having this problem. It slipped from number one position to number two to number three, and it was worried about going to number four. Right, and that's when we were hired. And the reason for that was it was not able to complete any project it undertook,
Oh,
because of the technology
okay.
complexities. Okay,
Right. Right.
so when we were hired and when we tried to put a solution, it was a 10-month undertaking, transformation undertaking. And 8 of those 10 months went into simply aligning the next in line leadership on the concept, on the agenda, right?
Oh, okay.
And these are big people. I'm talking about the heads of the technologies of the credit card division of a big
Right.
four Australian bank,
Right. Right.
or the head of the treasury technology of the bank, and so on, right? While the solution itself was simple, getting the people, the right stakeholders to comply was the biggest aspect, and
Right.
and and that was the key, right? I also know of another example. I can talk about my own company's example, Cognizance, right? We were trying to introduce a 15-year-old established SaaS player uh, for market entry into India. We were trying to introduce them into in India,
Mm-hmm.
and the first major prospect that we spoke to got hung up. It wanted the product to be information security compliant, right?
Okay.
And we took it head on. So the product partner accepted that point, went for the compliance. It took them 3 months. The whole pursuit was delayed by that much
Wow.
time, right? But eventually they did it, and the client was happy, and we got the project, right?
Right. Right.
So this compliance to whatever the client wanted actually was not a blocker, but an enabler of expansion of global expansion into a territory like India. Right.
Right. Right.
So I think that is how we achieve. I think compliance is very intrinsic to any transformation, right?
Mhm.
And that is how we achieve it.
That was a really fascinating look behind the curtain of global leadership. And I really appreciate how you didn't just talk about the compliance in abstract terms, but shared the human side of it, the struggles, the tensions, and the breakthroughs. So thank you for sharing that with us. So managing a global team is no easy task. And you've seen your team grow from tens to thousands people in just 3 years. So, what strategies did you employ to build and maintain a high performance culture across such a diverse and rapidly expanding team, while also ensuring that they remain aligned with the company's goals and values?
Right. So I have been privileged to see my units grow, and not entirely because of me, but because of the leaders. So I'll talk about those stories here.
Right,
I believe that high performance is nothing but your inherent capability or talent, which is brought out by the environment you are in, right? In order to have a high performing team, you need people with capability, with the talent, right? And I don't mean capability, specific capability of this technology
right,
or this,
right,
it is the learnability, right? Because those things can change.
right,
But you need capable people on your side. And the second thing you need is the zeal, right? They should have the drive to do something, right? If you have high capable people, but there's no zeal, you cannot draw high performance out of them, right?
right, right,
Uh, Third is attitude, right? So if you have high capability, a lot of zeal, but their attitude doesn't incorporate or accommodate to other members of the team, then it is of no use. Rather, you will have friction in the team than performance, high performance.
right, right,
And finally, the environment, right? So the culture. So basically, you need to then allow for this team to work together, such people to work together, be tolerant of their mistakes, right, and provide a constructive environment where they can then drop or deliver. Right? So I think this is the framework that I've seen my leaders follow at Infosys, where the unit grew from 100 to at least 3,000 in the times that I was there, and I've seen in other companies where I've led teams myself. Right? These days, what we see in the job descriptions, though, is very contradicting to this philosophy which I meant. Right? You'll see job descriptions that are very specific, wanting you to know very specific stuff, having done for years and years. I think that is not the right
yes,
way to get a high performance out of anyone. And the cultures that I see in a lot of companies these days is also not conducive to drawing high performance, because I'm seeing, especially in SaaS, leaders having a very small window of vision, right? They want to have in a 5 year time span or a 7 year time span,
right,
achieve a lot as mandated by their investors, and then exit or stop or sell or do something, right? I think that is very visible to the employees. They quickly draw their inferences, and that
right,
actually kills the performance. To give an example of one of the companies I worked for, it used to hire good people from great companies like McKinsey, Bain, EY. I was from EY, for example.
okay,
But then the culture was to dumb them down into instruction followers, right? I think that is not
okay,
the right recipe or way to extract high performance, because people don't like that eventually, right?
right, right,
And to talk about another example of another company, the performance was forced, right? There was abusive language used, or threats used to draw performance out of the employees, which also doesn't work. Employees quit at the first opportunity.
Wow, that's really great, Mr. Patel, and I really appreciate the way you unpack that playbook journey. Growing a team that quickly could have easily been described in numbers, but the way you shared the struggles, the turning points, and even the small rituals held it together. The 4 points that you laid across can easily be adapted by any industry, any company, and that can lead to having a great team. So, thank you for sharing that with us. So, Mr. Patel, you've been responsible for driving significant revenue growth and operational improvements. For instance, at High Radius, you accelerated revenue recognition by approximately 9 months and helped boosted collections by 10 million US dollars. What are the essential strategies that organizations should adopt to scale sustainably, particularly in the fast moving technology and SaaS sectors, while ensuring that innovation aligns with long term business sustainability?
Right. So it was a team effort, I would say, at iRadius. But yes, I was a part of it, thankfully. I would say that sustainability has two connotations, right? One is whatever you do today, you should be able to do tomorrow and the day after sustainably, right?
Right. Right.
And that is very important. That is the very essence of business. You want to sell a product or a service. The way you do it, the way you make it, or the way you sell it, you should be able to repeat it over and over and over again, right?
Right.
That
Right.
is how you grow into business, and you'll be able to do it profitably, right?
Right. Right.
Any compromise that you do, or shortcuts that you take, or workarounds that you make, you will not be able to sustain in long term, and then that will break your model, right? And I think that is one of the big problems today in the companies, especially in SaaS, right?
Hmm.
Because most of the SaaS firms, they eventually get investors, and then it is and if it is a VC funded firm, the VCs would then make it a cash based game, right? Which is to deploy their investment as rapidly as possible and to undercut or use that fund to either buy at the profitability by giving extensive discounts or customer acquisition by acquiring a lot of customers by overdoing the marketing
Right.
or overhire on excessive salaries, right? So none of these can be sustained, right? And doing this breaks the other aspect of sustainability, which is the social aspect or the environmental aspect or the governance aspect, right? Because if you overhire and then your calculations fail, you then lay off a lot of people, you bring chaos into the
Right.
society, right?
Right.
And you also see these days in SaaS startups, you will see a lot of elevated titles with no real authority, directors having no authority, VPs having no budgets. So things like that then happen, which really break both aspects of sustainability, right? So I think sustainable growth requires that the company focuses on basics.
Right.
Unfortunately, that is big time missing in today's companies. But I think that is how we would. And I am, in fact, trying to follow that. And that is one big reason I stepped out trying to do things or wishing to do things differently in my companies, right? And that's
Right.
what I'm doing. So we have been profitable from our first project itself. And I hope that I create models that are repeatable, sales motion, marketing motion, delivery motion, all of that.
Wow. First of all, just wanted to, say kudos to you for giving credit to your team for that success that you achieved. So that's wonderful, sir. And the way you walked us through this journey, the hard, honest work behind the numbers, that was illuminating. Hearing not just the payoffs, but the messy middle, the bets that didn't land, and the late pivots, and the way you tied short-term experiments to long-term guardrails made the whole thing feel real and useful. So thank you for sharing that with us. Now, Mr. Patel, we're going to switch things a little bit with a segment we call the rapid fire round. I'll ask you a series of quick questions and your answers with whatever comes to your mind. No thinking. Ready?
Okay.
All right, let's begin. The first one. If you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
I think my spirit, right? That is, I would think.
Wow, that's a really nice one. Usually people say teleportation or things like that, but this is something different. That's really nice. Okay, next one. If you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would it be?
It has to be Kashmir. So
Oh,
beautiful.
wonderful, wonderful. Wow. Okay, what's your favorite way to relax after a busy week?
I love to watch movies at home with my family and explain what's going on to my children, all the Marvel movies or the great ones. And then
Oh,
we
wow.
just love it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm a Marvel fan too, so I can totally relate to it.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. If you could switch lives with anyone for a day, who would it be?
It has to be me. I'm so obsessed, self obsessed, that nobody else.
You know what? That is the best quality. You are so satisfied with your life that you don't, You don't want anything else. So that's actually a quality, sir. Wonderful. Okay. What's the best advice you've ever received, but from an unlikely source?
Yeah, so I was flying from Brisbane to Melbourne, and all upbeat, having just finished an assignment, and so excited to talk. I was talking to my fellow passenger who was an Australian, and I was telling him my work was so great. We did a SAP transfer into implementation, and we achieved faced this challenge and that challenge. And he kept listening to me and said, Harsh, there's one thing I realized in my life, and that is that things are never really that critical.
Sorry, that means that?
Things are never really that critical.
Ah,
So, and that got me thinking that, yeah, while we think in our own world that things, we are doing very critical stuff, and things too seriously, but it definitely gave me a perspective.
right. I also believe that it's the state of your mind, how
Yeah.
you perceive things. Wonderful advice.
Yes, I cherish. It's been 20 years, and I still cherish it.
Wonderful. Okay. If you could eat only one cuisine for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Well, my friends know it. It has to be khichdi. I can eat it all the 3 meals, like around the year.
Wow. First khichdi fan I've met.
Maybe because of my origin.
Okay, next one. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Uh, yeah, I look at my kids, my wife, I check out on them, open the puja room door, pretty much three,
Wow.
four things every day.
Wow, wow, that is so sweet. Okay, last one, Mr. Patel. What's a habit you picked up recently that you can't seem to break?
Well, since last couple of years, I've started taking or switched to jaggery tea, right?
Oh,
And though
okay.
I realize it doesn't really change much over sugar, but I so much love it that I'm not able to drop that habit.
Wow, that's a different one. I usually take coffee with jaggery. It gives a caramelly taste, but this tea I'm definitely going to try. This
Are
is
you sure?
something new.
It's addicting.
Okay, okay. Wow. Thank you so much for being so candid with us, Mr. Patel. This particular round helps us see the person behind the professional, and you've answered so openly and so honestly. So thank you for letting us know you as a person.
Thank you for asking. I think it was fun.
Mr. Patel, as a leader deeply involved in digital transformation and high stakes operations, the importance of governance, ethics, and regulatory compliance cannot be overstated. In the rapidly evolving world of AI and machine learning, there are increasing concerns about inflated claims and the risks of training data scams. Based on your experience, what steps should entrepreneurs, investors, and clients take to differentiate between genuinely innovative AI driven solutions and those that may be overhyped?
Yeah, so AI is complex, it's rapidly evolving, and there's a lot of buzz around that for sure. Having said that, I think there is an increasing perception now that AI is in a bubble. Very few companies have gained real ROI from their AI investments, right?
Right.
And things like that. So I don't think it. I think we need to wait for it to stabilize and see some real impact, right? However, till then, I think clients should definitely build or look for building in-house capability to understand what lies within an AI solution, to be able to peel the layers when their vendors come and offer something about AI, right?
Mhm,
Things like being able to tell whether the data is exiting the organization or not, posing any threat,
mhm.
whether there is whether the OPEX is really coming down or not, right? And things like that. I think investors, no advice for them. I'm not an investor, but they are smart enough to do their own bit. But for the entrepreneurs, I think I can suggest that we should learn from the SaaS industry and avoid the same mistakes when we build AI solutions, right?
Right.
In SaaS world, what we have seen is all the good practices of the Silicon Valley have been followed, blindly followed and imitated. So
Okay.
rapid shipping, over every 2 weeks shipping a new product upgrade. While that is good, but without the safety nets that Facebook or Meta or sorry, Netflix they follow, right?
Right, right.
What we are seeing in SaaS is every time there is a new upgrade done by most companies, the existing one breaks,
Ah,
right?
okay.
I think we shouldn't imitate that. Besides, of course, looking at the right problem to solve rather than building just ChatGPT wrappers which go obsolete the moment the big tech like OpenAI release an upgrade, right? I think that is something I'd like to tell you.
Yes, yes. Wow. What you gave was a clear, grounded take on the topic that is too often lives in buzzwords. And I appreciate how you combine sharp red flags with a mix of honesty and practical steps. That is exactly the kind of guidance founders, investors, and clients need right now. So, thank you for sharing your genuine opinion with us. So, Mr. Patel, you've had an exceptional career and recently you joined Directors Institute. What was it that drew you to this network, and how has being a part of it influenced your leadership and governance approach?
Right. So as I mentioned before, Charu, I am driven by the philosophy that one must do more than the surroundings.
Right,
Right? So when I started my own companies 2 years back, I came across many leaders, many CEOs of the partners that I work with, and many leaders of these organizations. And I realized that while I established my own companies, there is also something more which I can do, which is to offer my expertise to certain many other companies via director uh, model, right? And I think that drew me to
right,
Directors Institute. Apart from the fact that for be able to do that, I need to learn certain things which until now was not my KPI. I never directly dealt with ESG aspects or any governance aspects that a board member does. So while I learn that, it is my drive to do more in my current role continuing. So, talking about how my approach has changed towards the environmental, social, and governance aspects since
right,
joining Directors Institute, I think very much. Um, Earlier, my worry as a new time founder or as a first time founder was to survive the first year and then the second year and then the first 5 years where 90%, 95% of the startups fail, right? Now I'm no longer worried about that because my mental horizon is no longer just 5 years, it is now 100 years. Right? I want to do something that leaves a legacy so that my children can see that their father underwent a big personal transformation in front of them, right? And changed the surroundings successfully, right? Changed his surroundings successfully. And I think focus on governance and environmental aspects and the social aspects is a big enabler in implementing that kind of a philosophy.
right.
So now I'm a lot more confident that with my sustainable growth mindset, with my learning mindset, and a focus on such big topics like ESG, surviving 5 years will not be a problem for sure. I think that is the biggest change I have seen.
Wow, wow, wonderful. So, thank you for sharing that with us. And so, Mr. Patel, thank you once again for sharing your incredible journey with us. Your wealth of experience, from driving global business strategies to championing sustainable growth, has been both inspiring and insightful. It's clear that your leadership philosophy, which combines operational excellence with governance and foresight, is making a lasting impact across industries. To our listeners, we hope today's conversation has not only provided valuable strategies, but also motivated you to lead with purpose, embrace innovation responsibly, and scale your businesses with integrity. This has been FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Charu Mehra, and until next time, remember, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep leading with integrity. Thank you.